We've officially launched our brand new Indie Author Bookstore, an online showcase featuring thousands of independently published books by Ally members, and we built it as a visibility engine with authors in mind. Our goal is simple: to help indie authors reach new readers, gain meaningful exposure, and get noticed by book influencers who are actively looking for fresh voices and standout stories. You've done the hard work of writing, editing, publishing, and launching. Now let's make sure your book gets the attention it deserves. Upload your books onto the Indie Author Bookstore. Not an Ally member yet? Join us and get your books listed. Welcome to Self-Publishing with Ally, proudly sponsored by PublishMe, helping indie authors succeed globally with expert translation, tailored marketing, and publishing support. From first draft to international launch, PublishMe ensures your book reaches readers everywhere. Visit publishme.me. And now, here's your host for Self-Publishing with Ally, Dan Holloway.
Welcome to another self-publishing news, and this is the week after London Book Fair, and I had imagined that most of this would be about London Book Fair. It turns out there's lots of other news going on, so I will start with the one really big thing that you will, I'm sure, have seen everywhere, not just in places where you see things about London Book Fair and book news in general, but pretty much all over your social media feeds as well, I am sure. And that is Don't Steal This Book. So Don't Steal This Book was an initiative launched at London Book Fair. It is a book. It is a book with around 10,000 authors, and it is an empty book except for the names of those 10,000 authors. And it is being distributed at London Book Fair, and it is a plea, I guess, to tech firms, obviously directly, don't steal this book, but also to the UK government and other governments coming on the eve of the publication of the assessment of the UK government's proposed legislation on copyright and AI. And the basic plea, there is nothing in the book, but there is on the back cover, and the back cover says the UK government must not legalise book theft to benefit AI companies. So that is very, very clear messaging. And if you remember, there are various options currently being considered for legislation here in the UK, and of those, there is one definite preferred option that the government has, which is a data mining exception to allow rights holders to reserve their rights, underpinned by supporting measures on transparency. That's to quote from the consultation document. What that would mean is that basically you would have to opt out if you didn't want the books that you hold rights to be used for AI training. There are various other options that are being considered, so an even broader data mining exception, which is basically one where you couldn't even opt out, strengthening copyright law as it stands at the moment, so that any use of copyright material for training AI would require licensing, and doing nothing, leaving things as they stand. The government has made clear they prefer that data mining exception with an opt-out. And this is not something that the publishing industry and the literary industry in general is taking very kindly to. And lots of talk is currently, or the general mood music seems to be that where companies are going to be able to use work to train AI, there should be licensing arrangements in place. And that probably the future is for there to be many licensing arrangements in place that authors can opt into, and if they don't, then your work can't be used. So AI very much is at the forefront of the news at London Book Fair, but that really is the big story coming out of the fair. And that brings us to the other big AI story of the week, which is another one that has been absolutely everywhere, and that is around Grammarly. So Grammarly obviously is the tool that helps people with their grammar It's been a feature of many writers, many people's day-to-day lives for many years now. It is moving into the AI space, as it inevitably would. You'll remember a while ago I reported that it has been taken over by a firm called Superhuman. So I think I did a column a while ago saying Grammarly is now superhuman. And that superhumanness includes various AI features. And the AI feature that has been causing particular controversy is something called Expert Review. So Expert Review is a feature that allows premium Grammarly subscribers to have the platform give them a critique of their work in the style of an editor of their choice or a writer of their choice. So, for example, if you wanted to know what Stephen King says about your latest horror novel, you can ask Grammarly to edit it in the style of Stephen King, and it will allegedly tell you exactly what Stephen King would have made of your novel. And this has, needless to say, not gone down very well with many of the authors who are being used in this way. It's very analogous, if you think about it, to those image generators that people were asking to do things in the style of, and likewise text generators that you could use to write something in the style of an author of your choice. Only now it's being used for editing. And needless to say, many of the people whose names are being used here, it turns out they haven't been giving permission to have their thoughts and styles and opinions used to train the AI that is supposedly able to give advice in their style. And this has led to a very big backlash and a legal suit, needless to say. So there is a class action which has been filed by Julia Angwin, who is one of the authors who has been affected by this. And in response to this and other backlashes, Grammarly has withdrawn the function, but the lawsuit remains in place. And we will see what comes of that. But as I say, it is a class action that's been filed. It may be possible, if you find out that Expert Review is doing things in your name, that you might be eligible to join that class. Do keep an eye out if you think you have been affected. So that's AI and Grammarly. And the other thing that is coming news-wise is BookTok charts. So this is the expansion of something that was trialled in Germany, which is charts of the books that are trending on BookTok. And this is going to be run by Nielsen Bookscan with input by Media Control, who are the team who ran it in Germany. And basically it's going to be a monthly chart which tells you which books are selling most based off of being promoted through the BookTok community. So the idea is that it will enable influencers on BookTok to have a tangible something to show what the level of their impact is. It will give information to the industry as a whole and to us as writers about just how influential BookTok actually is. We know that we are constantly told it's very influential. It's responsible for getting people back into bookshops, for resurrecting reading and for saving the print book, and all kinds of other things. This should, we hope, give us some actual data, and that would be very interesting and may even lead on to enhanced effects such as BookTokers wanting to, those sort of things that you see often on YouTube, the books or the films or the tunes that the charts ignore. So it might actually drive activity around the charts as well as reflecting activity that is already there. It will certainly be very interesting. I very much look forward to reporting on the first data that we get from it when it comes out. And one more story, talking of expansions, and that is the expansion of Audible. So Audible has announced that it is moving into 11 new markets. Those markets are Belgium, Egypt, Ireland, Netherlands, Poland, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, South Africa, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, and saving the most interesting till last, Sweden. Sweden, of course, is the home to many very famous audiobook companies, Storytel, Bookstory or BookBeat, and of course, most famously of all, Spotify. So Audible is taking up the gauntlet that Spotify has thrown down and running with it and expanding into these markets. So obviously more opportunities for us as authors to sell into more markets, all of which feels like a positive note on which to end the week. And I very much look forward to speaking to you again at the same time next week. Have a good week.
You've been listening to Self-Publishing with Ally, proudly sponsored by PublishMe, helping indie authors succeed globally with expert translation, tailored marketing, and publishing support. From first draft to international launch, PublishMe ensures your book reaches readers everywhere. Visit publishme.me, and if you haven't already, we invite you to join our association and become a self-publishing ally. You can do that at allianceindependentauthors.org.